Welcome to Crashing Game Night. My name is Matt Diorio. On tonight's episode, I am joined, as always, by our version of we're not sure if he's Blunt Man or Chronic, Gerard Barrera.
That was a good one. I enjoyed that. In fact, I'll take it as a compliment because I love those two characters. What is going on, nerds? That's right. Today we have a nice special guest. It's my roommate. I'm going to continue with Matt's going to continue with the introduction.
Why don't you introduce him?
No,
How rude are you?
I'm just saying.
You're bringing
God.
someone to game night.
I don't want to break the.
Don't be rude.
Don't
Be rude.
Okay. The lineup. My roommate Pierre McDermott. Hello, everyone. Give him a round of applause. Golf clamp. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, it's always great to have our friends on the podcast, as well as ones that are artists, which we'll get into a little bit of that for you a little bit later. And as always, we're also joined by Bumble the Boy Wonder, Lion's Mane, Jason Bolidio.
How's it going, guys? How's it going today? You know, another Thursday.
It's good. I've got a day off tomorrow.
Just another week down.
It's college night, you know.
In the
college
COVID
night.
life.
College
The
night and the COVID.
Yes.
Oh, how is the Costco COVID minute, Jason?
You know, it's going all right. It's starting to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it is getting closer towards the opening of things, and with the opening of things, people want to go out and buy more stuff for summer. You know, stay safe out there. Still wear a mask. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
And I think that's what's. I'm getting tired of people saying, "Well, I don't want to wear a mask because it's my civil, against my civil rights." Right? Okay, it's been proven on all the countries around the world that have nipped this thing in the butt. They told everybody wear a freaking mask.
Yeah, I mean, like,
okay,
of all like the other countries, like the other first world countries, like Korea, parts of Japan,
Australia, New Zealand, Italy.
Are they like having these ridiculous spike in cases? No.
Yeah. And secondly is what I find atrocious, and I can't believe I have to actually talk about this, is the fact is people are going out and making up fake ADA cards to say they have a medical condition that prevents them from wearing a mask. And if people don't like it,
is that what I've been seeing around on like TikTok and Instagram? Like people
are making fake cards.
Yeah.
And the problem is that I follow C-Spone on Twitter, who is part of the Able Gamers Foundation, and he actually is disabled, and he can't. He's got a legit disability, and he's having to explain to people what ADA actually really means.
Oh, wow.
It doesn't mean you don't have to wear a mask. It means that a business can't discriminate against you based on your disability. So, like he put it, if he wants to go into McDonald's and get some fries, he can go into McDonald's and get some fries, and you won't have to be, kicked out.
Right.
I can't believe as a society, not only are we talking about this, we're talking about Black Lives Matter. We're talking about LGBTQ, especially with Pride Month right now, and some of the things that our leader of our country has done to take away rights from that community. And now Me Too has now come back and has hit the gaming industry full forward. Guys, I gotta say this. Everyone just stop being assholes to each other and let's start taking care of each other.
Right.
I mean, seriously. I mean, that's the way it comes down to, is that's the way I look at it for, everyone that's saying that Black lives don't matter. Yes, they do. Especially like you look at Bubba Wallace, right, with NASCAR, even though the FBI says, oh, it's been there for 8 months, the guy had a noose in his garage for his car at Talladega. So I think that everyone just needs to just chill. Let's wear masks so we can get rid of this, get back to normal life.
All right.
Be able to go back to the movie theater, because I miss seeing movies on the big screen,
Right.
It's tough. I just don't think that that's going to happen anymore. Like, I think that's changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I think that fundamentally there's a whole shift that has to happen. And the problem that's happening is people don't want to do the shift, change, and they're fighting it. And that's why you're not wearing
That's why that's like where we are right now, because we're kind of in a stall. Because everyone is fighting all of these.
We're not in a stall.
rules.
We're in an upward climb, man.
Yeah,
we're
going up again.
Every day we've broken records now.
Oh yeah.
How many cases? We just had 32,000.
No, I mean, in regards of where we should be moving forward to. This is what I'm talking about.
There's no progress.
There's no progress being made. We're at a standstill because people are still fighting the fact that change and the fact that there's still a virus out there, and yet they're still not taking it seriously because now we don't know whether or not to believe if it's real or not. That's still insane to me.
It's just,
What? Like,
it's that common sense thing,
Yeah.
that a lot of people just don't have. They kind of like, they take everything at face value. How many times have you talked to your parents and they're like, "Did you see this thing on Facebook? Oh my god!" And you're like,
Well, yeah,
dude, don't get me started on that.
Yeah,
because
yeah, I always see that as okay. Well, that's one source, but also question that source.
yeah, absolutely.
It's not everything just doesn't come through. Yeah.
Be skeptical.
The parent,
but
the new parent CNN, which is Facebook. Yeah.
it's bad.
yeah, I think honestly, I think people just need to wise up, because stop getting your news from Fox News, who still is drilling it in there that it's a hoax, and that once the election's done, it's going to go poof away. I'm sorry, it's not going to.
Yeah, no.
But
until a vaccine comes around, it's just.
the problem is, the thing is, we're not going to ever have a vaccine for this because it keeps mutating, and it's mutating very viciously. And it's starting to hit China again. And now it's going to start branching out. Now, if they didn't take away funding to the actual think tank that was doing research into the coronavirus in bats, which is where all this crap is originating from, and they have actual data that even like SARS came from the bats. All the ones that are part of the COVID, family have all started with this bat that's in China. So... But when it comes down to it, though, I mean, I think we all just need to be better to each other. It's like Bill and Ted said. Yeah, it's like Bill and Ted said, be excellent to each other. And I can't wait for that movie to come out here pretty soon. We're gonna get it. Forget letting me spend like $12 to rent it on iTunes. Just let me buy it. I'll go pay you $30 or $40, so I don't have to wait for it for the official release of it.
How do you guys
I just want it now.
I missed the theater.
Shift. How do you feel about that shift of it? Just you can buy it now. I don't think that's going to go away for a while. I think
honestly, and some of the news we're going to talk about Hollywood wise, but I think fundamentally Hollywood has to shift. I mean, theaters have already been declining for years anyways, as digital has becoming more prevalent. You're having it in more households. So I think honestly COVID was just that straw that broke the movie theaters candle or back, so to say. And I don't think they're coming back the way they were. They're not.
The longer that this keeps going on, the shorter lifespan the theater, the movie theater, I think has, because the moment that they honestly, like, this is my prediction, the moment that the Hollywood decides to make that shift and we start getting those premieres on digital, and of course the price is going to be, Pierre and I discussed this, of course the price would be almost double, because you have to they would factor in the fact that you're going to the movies, maybe some food, and then like a full movie night, and then on top of that able it digitally.
Owning it.
I'm honestly, the prices they've been charging for rental, I'm okay with, because that's almost the price of a movie ticket anyways. Well, for my wife and I.
That would be a movie ticket and purchasing it, I think. Because well, I mean, maybe they would give that option.
I agree. I think it's the way that it's kind of what happened to drive-ins. I mean, drive-ins are gone. I mean, people complain. People want them back. but overall, that's just gone. It's no longer an option.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
imagine when we first started doing like the Uber Eats, DoorDash. It was
Mhm.
weird at first, but now it's like a sense of normalcy. I think it's the same way that's going to happen when they make that shift to digital. That I don't think that's going to go away. That option, people are going to want that option, so they don't have to. Well, who wants to deal with crying babies and people talking in the movie theater? I'd rather
Yeah.
just buy it at home. I think that's going to create a new like subgenre of
Yeah.
watching.
Well, and we
movies.
look at it
I
too.
don't
It's just
think
looking
so.
up King of Staten Island, right? Pete Davidson's new movie.
Mhm.
You can rent it for $20 on iTunes right now. So there's the price of just shy of 2 movie tickets
Yeah.
Yeah.
on average.
Uh,
So you're at home and whatnot. So, but before we kind of get too far in the news, I do want to ask Pierre, right? With you being an artist and a content creator, especially with you doing the 30 and 30 that you're doing on your Facebook page, which that art is amazing. It is fantastic to see. I didn't realize it wasn't. I didn't realize it was you that was doing the work. I thought it was just, hey, you had these pictures. Hey, cool. I'm going to throw them up there. But one is, I want to know what your take is on the culture today, right? Because you do fit in. You are part of that Black Lives Matter, right?
Yeah, but I think overall,
and-
I think everyone should be. But yeah.
Yeah, so I want
I'm
your
directly
personal
impacted.
take though, as your feedback as a person of color that is going on in the that has to live in this world. How do you feel about the current climate, as well as what made you decide to do the 30 for 30 in celebration of Pride Month?
Well, how I feel now, I'd say that it's welcoming, it's nice, but at the same time, when you're constantly bombarded throughout the day, life, year of micronisms throughout the day, you become jaded to it. So when people start to talk about it, started talking about this, maybe 2016 and throughout, like it was going on, but it had fluttered and then it would flutter down. So I'd like to think that it looks different. People say it seems different. It feels like a lot more people are out there, which is nice. Stay safe, wear masks, don't go out if you feel bad, take temperature, all that. But it's nice to see that a lot of people are of that minority that are privileged standing, and of the people who in the past I would consider, to change my voice so that I may fit in easier with them, or they would feel more comfortable so that they wouldn't be, I'm 6'4", 260 plus, like I'm a guy that when you're walking by, people often go like, oh. So I always, you put up these walls or change your matter you speak with people, so that you automatically feel less threatening. And that kind of thing is nice, that it's that type of people. I just hope it stays. I hope it continues. And I hope, like, things are happening. I mean, there's a lot of factors that have come from it, but it's kind of scary. But as of for art, I did that because COVID. I was stuck at home, and Pride is a month that is all about celebration and all about inclusivity, and it was a time where it's like, I want to do something. It's Pride Month coming up. Let's do that. Let's celebrate people that I admire, or that you see and you go, okay, like they broke some kind of boundary or made some kind of touch someone to was a queer voice that people could see and be like, okay, cool, like I can rally around this, or I can understand this, or just more faces, because more faces, more exposure means, there's tons more voices. It's like media, in the past, seeing someone who is Asian on the screen, you'd be like, oh, are they doing that, or are they martial artists, or are they like
Yeah,
the
right.
love interest? You know, like what's going on? So it's the same kind of thing. Seeing that is good. So yeah.
Well, and to that point about having the queer voices out there, you know, Hollywood lost one of those voices this week with Joel Schumacher passing away at the age of 80.
Yeah.
So a lot of people didn't realize, and I didn't realize this until I started reading up on part of his life and stuff, is that he was gay and he's been gay his entire career. And Hollywood just people knew it and they said, "Cool, you're good with it. We don't care," you know.
I think they more cared about Batman than anything else.
Well,
but,
yeah. So let's look at this first. Is, you know,
That's his one asterisk. Yeah.
he did do The Client. He did Time to Kill, which are both gruesome movies. Time to Kill is an amazing movie,
Yeah.
and I think honestly, it talks about a lot of things that are happening right now. You know, with lynchings in the South and whatnot, and I think it is definitely worth seeing. Talking about bringing another black movie to the screen, he did The Wiz with Michael Jackson. It's the one where
it's got its following. It's a cult classic. It's
yeah,
just, you know,
Song of the South has its following.
You know.
We're going to talk about that too.
It may be a little tainted with the, you know, the cast that's in it.
Yeah, but and then he also did Lost Boys, which is another classic vampire movie.
That's his favorite movie.
It's not my favorite movie.
It's one of his favorite movies.
It's the best vampire.
Hey, I would agree with that. And then he also did Phantom of the Opera. So I mean, he went the whole.
He started Gerard Butler's career. Yeah.
And
Awesome.
then as we talked about, I think his huge asterisk on his entire career, and if you listen to him now, he actually regrets it. But he put nipples on the Batsuit for Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. And I think that is a huge asterisk because that's where it started going off rails as well. You started moving away from the brooding of Batman to...
That was the crash.
But that wasn't
that was
so many other things.
That was the train crash.
Card, the fact the skates, like all of Jim Carrey.
No, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
Jim Carrey was the Riddler.
Yeah.
No.
It wasn't a terrible Riddler, but...
No. That's Batman Forever, not Batman and Robin.
Batman Forever had nips on the Batsuit. That's where it started.
Oh, yeah.
And then Batman and Robin is where it continued with Arnold and Mr. Freeze and...
That's right.
Uma,
Poison
Ivy,
Bane.
Poison Ivy.
Bane. That Bane.
Ruined Bane for years.
Yeah.
Oh, it did.
So, So yeah, I mean that is a huge asterisk, but you know, thankfully Christopher Nolan brought us a good Batman, and to me though, the best Batman still is Michael Keaton, as far as live action goes. Kevin Conroy will always be forever and always the Batman, but I still think to me, Michael Keaton is the best Batman, and he is actually in talks to reprise his role for the Flash movie, as well as rumor is...
You want to do this? You go ahead.
Go for it, Pierre. You're shaking your head. Come on.
It's so terrible. Like,
it's
like
bad.
hire someone to say no. Just hire someone to be like, hey, we'd like to we're gonna have the Flash, not just regular Flash, but like Ezra Miller with CG legs run, not into doing a way of possibly resetting everything. And they might still have a way of resetting through whatever terrible story they come up with, but
it's not Flash.
To run into the Bruce Timm universe of Batman sounds horrible. It's ruining two things. It's literally like two things.
So it sounds like it's going to be a cameo. So he runs into Tim Burton's universe, which is a separate universe.
There's rumors that it's a multi-picture deal to do something along the lines of Samuel L. Jackson as. I mean, but he would be the Nick Fury.
It really doesn't matter. I mean,
it's just a piece.
It's not going to go further than the one movie. They're going to do the movie, and then it's going to do okay.
They have so many resources.
Yeah.
DC has so many resources,
right?
And they refuse to use them. They used the last thing that was made or some crazy guy's idea instead of looking at the stuff that was last used that was popular. Not just last used. The last thing that was used and critically acclaimed. They just say no. They're like, no.
Yeah, but
hey,
if you want to do
what
that,
do you want to do?
Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale wanted to walk away. They were kind of done with that whole thing. So
As it should,
But-
man. And then completed
the
the
only-
trilogy.
So the only movie I want to see Michael Keaton in as Batman is Batman Beyond.
I agree.
Yes.
That would be great.
He'd be a great older Batman. He'd be great.
Yeah, he's perfect.
And then
Yeah.
find a Terry.
The Terry's gonna be tough,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Zac Efron.
Ooh.
He's been
That might
getting
not be
popular
too bad.
lately.
That's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
That's
not
a pretty
bad.
good
Bad.
one.
It's not bad.
I mean, like he would have to be an older Terry. He has to be like a college,
Yeah.
late college.
But he's at that
He
age.
could go for
But
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Zac Efron's
That's
a little
actually-
up there in age. He
That's
he
why I
was in
said
his
a
20s
later
at High School
college.
Musical,
Yeah. Later.
But
like the
I
sixth
mean,
year. Like,
yeah. But I think honestly, DC is trying to do what they can.
no, they're not.
Well, okay. Those in charge of DC right now at Warner Brothers are trying to do what they think is right, which honestly don't go into the past and grab
They're trying to get money.
these greats. I mean, if you really want to, let's just go get Christian Bale back for a fourth movie. Go to Christopher Nolan and say, hey, I know we let you do the Ferrari, we let you do the Lamborghini, but hey, we really need this. Here's the Maserati. You know,
maybe for a fourth Nolan movie, yes.
I think they
but
need
not.
to go light what they've created.
Or-
realize that's not good.
Yeah.
Burn it up, and from the ashes do something. And Flashpoint
We had-
could have been that.
could.
It
However,
that's
we
what
also
could be, but it's not.
if Warner Brothers wasn't like dicks about the whole thing, they could have done Nightwing.
That's what they should
Everything
have
was
gone.
set up for it.
No,
That's what they
shouldn't
should have gone.
They shouldn't have. There's nothing set up for him.
But
That
I
was the
mean, like,
problem. that
you
they
gotta
have.
evolve. You gotta keep going, man.
But
Like,
that's it. But but you have to have a plan, and they don't have a
Well,
plan. That's
no,
the
they
problem.
don't.
They don't have
X-Men
a
really
Feige
didn't
to
No,
say.
have
they
like
don't
a
have
big
a Feige.
plan.
They don't
I've
have a,
said this
they
many
don't
times.
have a Feige. If they have a Feige to go here, like here's 6 pictures set for the universe that we're going to do,
And how they're all going to be
these-
connected.
No, this is A, this is B in the middle, and this is C. We need to connect these dots. In between, things can happen and have fun. But at the end of the story,
Well,
we need here. At the end of the story, we need here. So the story goes.
they
Yeah.
did, and then we got JLA.
Oh,
They
didn't
didn't
though.
even
That's
really
the
do
problem.
it, though.
They didn't. They had one
Well, no,
movie,
and they're-
and they were like, "We're gonna put Batman
Yeah.
in the next Superman movie," and
They're
not
all based
think
on
about it.
appearances. Nothing.
Yeah.
No
Zack
grittiness.
Snyder's
No story.
Yeah,
I
It
like
was
Zack
just
that's
Snyder,
true.
but he's
Man of Steel,
it's not.
Batman v Superman. Because in the Batman v Superman movie, they just met. That's
Yeah,
not
right.
enough. That's
Yeah,
not enough
yep.
time.
Not just that, but look at Batman v Superman, and then look at the Bruce Timm, Paul Dini animated movie where
Dark
Batman
Knight
meets
Returns.
Superman. There's 30 minutes. It is like 30 minutes sets up is so like leaps and bounds set up better in a cartoon. That's not acceptable.
That's an
Like
amazing.
when someone can do that in a cartoon for 30 minutes and you can't do it with how much money?
Yeah.
No.
that
Take the
Dark
card
Knight-
away. Just take it. Like take the keys. Like nah, not anymore. Who's next? Like
you didn't pass your roadside sobriety test.
No.
So let's talk about redoing things really quick. And Splash Mountain is now going to be redone as Princess and the Frog and move away from Song of the South. Speaking of Song of the South having a following,
I get it.
I get it. I didn't know the history behind the movie itself, Song of the South. What I remember
So
of
bad.
Song of the South is
so bad.
Dippity Doodah.
Yeah,
that
that's all I
little
remember.
4-minute
Zippity
video.
Doodah.
Yeah.
So I think this is the right move to do. It's a long time coming. I mean, the ride is what, 30 some odd years old, opened up in 88, 89.
Sheesh.
So yeah, I was in 4th grade when it opened because we were there for opening weekend of Splash
Oh
Mountain.
wow.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was cool.
But
Dang.
That's crazy that ride was made in '88. Think about it, like
Yeah.
like systematically. Like someone was like in '88 when racism died. They were like, we're gonna make this ride. Oh, from what movie? Oh, let me show you the movie. It's great. And and it's not like Blazing Saddles is like controversial today, but I feel like the way it's been made, you can look at it and see that the information is there. Like there's context there for the joke. So you can look at the joke, laugh at the joke, and be okay with it.
This was the
Song of the South is just like,
so opposite.
It's like Gone with the Wind. It's that bad of Gone with the Wind where you're just like, oh yes, I'm having a great time. And you're like, what the fuck?
speaking of bad ideas, let's talk about Mixer.
Yo.
What's that?
So exactly.
What's that? Oh man.
So for those that don't know what Mixer is, it was Microsoft's attempted answer to Twitch and YouTube. They started it a couple years ago. So it is going to officially be dead on July 22nd. Is the website mixer.com is going to officially redirect to fb.gg on that day, which is for Facebook gaming.
What's that?
For those exactly. Well, yeah, Facebook gaming has actually had a lot of things going on with it. So what's funny is they announced to the world that this was happening and didn't let their streamers know until they announced to the world that this was happening.
Yo, even better.
God.
But they had streamers.
Okay, so they spent $30 million.
They spent a big paycheck.
I'm sure all 20 of them are just completely outraged.
Yeah, they're like, I can't now like take the
Except
same
Ninja.
stream that I had over here and just move it over there.
Right?
Yeah.
Ninja's
Well,
like, hell yeah, dude.
So here's the funny is Ninja signed that exclusive deal to stream
He was the
exclusive
only
on
one,
Mixer.
though. That's the problem.
Him and Shroud were got the exclusive big paychecks, and
I think that
Ninja's
made
gonna
people-
make 30. Ninja's making 30 million off of this,
and not
and
having
he is now immediately a free agent and can go to wherever he wants to for streaming. So, what Microsoft is going
depending
to
on
do?
the contract.
So Ninja, if you'd like, you can Venmo me anything.
He won't. He sucks. He's not going to.
So anyways, to give you an idea of background, guys, this is why I think Mixer just had to die, is that in April alone, which is the last reported numbers right now, 37 million hours were watched on Mixer. Okay.
That's pretty good. That's not too
Sorry,
bad.
that's not bad.
For 1 month.
So let's compare that, right? Facebook Gaming, which we all were like, okay, what's that? Had 291 million hours.
Yo, what's up?
But that's like a lot of grandmas.
And that's already an established website and social media, so like
that's like everything.
You kind of got a built-in audience there.
Yeah.
Okay, YouTube had 461 million hours.
It's YouTube, dude.
But
Yeah.
YouTube has more time than TV. Like YouTube is. I think we look at most people that spend like 8 hours a day on YouTube.
Twitch had 1.5 billion hours watched in April.
That also makes sense.
Okay.
Yes.
In year-over-year growth.
Yeah.
Mixer, 0.2% growth.
0.2.
Oh my God.
Everybody else, like YouTube, I think was the smallest, and they were up in the 70 percentile for growth.
Wow.
Twitch grew 100%.
Oh.
Facebook grew
Leaps
almost
and
200%.
bounds. Leaps and bounds.
So
man.
I think it did need to go. Now here's the funny thing is, Facebook Gaming has an app that's out on Android. They've attempted to put it out on the Apple Store 5 times, and Apple has rejected them. So that tells you there's a problem with the app. And now Phil Spencer has said it wasn't as much as about return on sell. It was about finding a partnership that was the best things for our community and streamers. We think that this is it, and it gives us a great place to launch more xCloud content and give gamers the ability to play from there. So I think that what they looked at it is Mixer's failing. Facebook has such an install base let's go to Facebook and we can put Project xCloud there and build it into all those little stupid games that everybody plays that you keep getting invites for on messengers.
Yeah.
Good move.
I mean,
kill it. If it's costing you money and you're not
Yeah, if
getting any growth out of it,
if
you might
it
as
if it
well.
doesn't sell, yeah, just toss it.
Yep. Now, speaking of Phil Spencer, he kind of gave his thoughts on the Sony presser.
Ooh.
And he said, "Just being honest, I felt good after seeing their show. I think the hardware advantages that we've built in are going to show up as we're talking more about games and frame rates and other things. I thought the games lineup that we're going to have at launch, I felt really good about, and we got more clarity on what they're obviously doing at their show, which helped us focus in on more of what we have. And I think that'll be a strength for us at launch." What exclusives besides Halo?
You know, when we were watching that Sony presser, there was quite a lot of exclusive games that are going to be on the PlayStation 5.
Did you see the article I wrote about it? It's like
Yeah.
it's longer than a 2-minute read, and it's a couple paragraphs of just exclusives from Sony.
Yeah, it's just exclusives, you know, exclusives.
Sounds like it just sounds like more standard Microsoft delusionary site.
You know, it's
you know.
for 2 years though, you know, like it's a long time, you know, and I don't know if COVID life lasts 2 years, you know, but
But look at the
Dang.
coming from Sony though. I'm not. I mean, by the other guy in the room here, I feel like, but I'm not a big fan. There was like 2 things I walked out of the Sony thing going, oh, I'll buy that.
Yeah, but
I mean, Spider-Man.
But you still walked out.
That's not. I mean, that's
You still walked out of it wanting a couple of things.
2.
Microsoft still didn't have any.
Microsoft just said, hey, you know what? We're coming out with the new system. Hey, yeah.
But I think also there's a line in the sand too that there's somebody who said that Sony did their conference after Microsoft, so they already know what they said and they can do what they want. Whoever's coming second can do more.
Yeah.
Is there something more that could happen? I mean, like, who knows? But
Absolutely.
You know.
So with Microsoft, they had their third-party presser. Then Sony has their presser that not only shows first-party exclusive, but it also shows third-party exclusives.
Exclusive.
And then, exclusive. You know, that
But
they
it
get
is
to
Apple.
I'm
space
just
in-
gonna
in the
keep
mini
saying
fridge.
that like every time you
Exclusive.
say exclusive.
You know, and now Microsoft's going to have an event in July that they're going to do their first-party titles.
Non-exclusive.
So
But again, who knows?
let's
We'll
see.
Yeah.
I think what's going to hurt them though is they're doing that 2-year
That 2-year.
non-exclusivity thing where
Yeah.
you
it's
can buy
gonna
the game
kill
on the Xbox One, and then whenever you upgrade to Series X, you can get the smart delivery version if it's a
Yeah.
first-party studio, and move it forward. So,
2 years is a
speaking of-
long time. Just
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I'm
So-
saying. It's just like
now,
come at me, Xbox people. You know, I don't even know if like
Are we
there are
talking
some
about this and not something with the Switch, because that's fair. I mean, like
the Switch is okay. So the
Like, no,
Nintendo, like for me personally, Nintendo will always be the all around.
Currently, right
You know,
now,
it
it
is-
is easily.
It's got so much
Well,
versatility.
Who has a Switch? Who has a Switch? Right
I
here.
know, everybody. But it's got so much versatility. You know, you automatically if you get the regular, not the light, automatically is a
Love the
2-player. Is it automatic 2-player? You know,
Yeah.
but Nintendo is generic, like has always been the family console, quote quote, family
You're also
console.
saying that, you have friends. I don't have friends, so I
Well,
play single player.
Even if you play single player though, like it was still the family console. Everyone grew up with Mario. Everyone grew up with Sonic.
And as of right now, its relevancy is
Sega,
still up there, and it's really just
Like,
kind of
it's just
depending
started.
on. Well, yeah, but it's kind of like just depending on the new games that
But-
get sent out. Right
And
now,
all,
there's console war
it's
going on.
the whole how much Nintendo takes care of the next generation of gamers, not the next
well, let's
generation.
talk about
Period.
Let's talk about that though, because here's the thing: is they have that Nintendo Ambassador program that they've had for a long time now. They are all of a sudden starting to drop, without reason, a lot of their ambassadors now. They're still saying, hey, you can still promote us and do content. We'll occasionally send you for some free stuff, but you can't have a mention of the ambassador program anywhere on your social media, your YouTubing, whatever it is.
Maybe they're going ahead of the curve. They've looked at content that these guys are doing and saying, maybe I don't want that.
Well, and I cool, and that is.
But they've always been a company to keep it close to the chest, and they want to control every narrative, really.
Yeah, exactly. But the problem is, I think what Nintendo's running into is that it's always the Nintendo thing, is that you only release really one big exclusive every year. You know, for the most part, right? And the problem is they're relying on ports of games that have been out for ages.
Yeah.
And they're relying on, honestly, if you look at the store, it's become a lot of shovelware. It is turned into the Wii store again, where it's just a ton of just little indie titles that look like you're not even playing it on a current gen system. It looks like you're going back to the days of Intellivision and Atari.
A lot of retro,
But look at the current climate of being stuck in like your own desert island. Everyone's stuck on their own desert island right now. With COVID.
Hey, I open my gates. I let people come visit my island.
Exactly. but think about this. In this current climate of that, where when you always ask people, hey, if you were stuck on a desert island, what game do you want to play for a long time? Do you want to play the new fancy-looking great game, or do you want to play Mario?
Horizon.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
I feel like for me, it's the classics that I want to play. That'll play a lot longer.
Chrono Trigger. If we're going classics, I would go Chrono Trigger. I mean,
Uncharted, everything.
Tomb Raider Light, you mean? That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna.
But here's the thing though, is like, I guess when the head of Indies himself, Kirk Scott, just up and leaves the company after just 5 years with it, something is going on within Nintendo. There's some paradigm shift that's going on, and a lot of it is still anti-consumer, really, because they're still fighting. They put out a Switch Lite, but instead of upgrading the Joy-Con sticks, they're still having drift issues.
They are.
Yeah.
I mean, you should have fixed it. If you're going to design a whole new console, you should have fixed the drift problem when you know exactly what it is. It's the parts you're using. So do better parts. And also now is they're fighting people who accidentally bought the wrong DLC expansion for Sword and Shield. Which, I'm sorry, the way it's set up is if you're a parent and you don't really know what the heck your kids are playing, you could potentially buy the wrong one. You could go into GameStop and say, hey, I need the download code. And they're like, well, what are you using?
New Pokemon.
The new Pokemon.
Sword or Shield. Well, I don't know what it is. Well, here you go. And
so many times.
I feel like you just need to sell them like currency. And then they can buy what they want.
Well, and you can do currency yourself, but they're looking at it even from the Nintendo shop, though, is you go into the eShop, say you accidentally bought the expansion for Shield, you've got Sword, you're having to fight them to get a refund. So you can
Is there a way of purchasing it in-game?
No, it's through the shop.
You have to go through the shop.
You have to go through the shop.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. It's just like back when me and Jerry were working together all the time. We just have the parents just come in. I need a game that's good and new. Okay.
Awesome.
Here you go.
What kind of kid do you have? Yeah, is so always.
How old is your kid? Is always just like, how old is your kid? And we kind of like.
But they're the best at video games. They're the best.
Oh, they play everything.
They know everything about.
They play everything.
Work here. They should. Are you hiring?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
You know, Pierre.
That happens all the time. Yeah.
I mean, but honestly, though, you look at Nintendo, though, they haven't exactly been consumer friendly when it comes to price points and everything like that. Is like, you look at Legend of Zelda, that game still sells for $60. They have not dropped that price down.
But it's still selling, though.
That's it. That's it. Like, they always had their core stuff that stays at that price point, will always stay at that price point, because no matter what, someone buys a console, they're going to buy that game.
Mhm.
And also to add to that, the exclusivity of like Nintendo, like they're the gold. Like to me, they're the gold standards when it comes to like exclusive
Oh
consoles,
yeah.
content, stuff like that. Like Sony and Microsoft offer it, but you're always getting a line for that exclusive Pikachu framed 3DS, like
Animal
that's
Crossing.
limited edition.
Yeah, the
Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
You know, Mario inspired this. You know,
Well, The
that's
Last of
where they
Us. I mean,
still like hit their niche. Like it's
but you look
Yeah.
at that though. You want to talk about exclusive consoles? You look at that Last of Us PS4 Pro console that came out, along with the controller and the headset. That Pro sold out within hours.
How many
but
did
how
they
many
make?
did they make?
Like, I'm
How many
sure
did
we're
Nintendo
talking
make of the
about
Switch, though?
very big differences between Nintendo and like. I feel
Yeah,
like
But
Nintendo
this is the
limited
other thing.
edition.
This is the other thing that
Animal
will
Crossing
close
one.
this, though. This is the other thing that will close this. In 6 months,
Yeah.
that PS4 Pro
yeah,
is going to go down in value.
Oh yeah.
Anything
yeah.
that Nintendo that's limited and special edition stays or even gets at a higher price.
almost guaranteed
So-
to make money on it.
Here's the thing. I'll say this with Nintendo though is they better have something that's in the pike for this year that is big.
I totally
Because
agree.
Here's the
Yeah, I
reason
totally
is
agree.
because
They already had Animal Crossing. I mean, like what?
No.
well, no. Here's where I'm going with this.
What are
Jason,
they
is that-
missing? Yeah. Go ahead.
So you don't have E3, right? And they decided they're not
Nope.
doing any type of direct. That would have been at E3, right?
Yep.
They're letting all their third-party vendors go ahead and announce their games, whatever you guys want to do. We're not going to do an event for you. Okay. We don't know outside of New Paper Mario. There is nothing really in the pike
Besides
that
the
is
Pokemon,
big and exclusive.
Pokemon DLC.
Pokemon DLC, whoop-de-doo. I mean, the game's been out for well over 6 months now. I think what they need to do is they need to have a game that needs to be hot and ready to go, that it's an exclusive, to Jerry's point, right? Like along the lines of like an Odyssey, a Breath of the Wild, whatever it is. You need to have that ready to go, and you need to drop that in like October,
Yeah, I mean,
early
what
November,
they're-
because once PS5 and once Xbox Series X drop in holiday, Nintendo is going to take their market
they're
share
going to
lead,
be
which
third
they have,
place again, and they're going to be playing catch up.
and they have a lead right now. I mean, they've been selling like hotcakes, and we all know that. I mean, you can't find a Switch anywhere.
Yeah.
And if you do, you might as well start a brawl for it, because it's going to be, death race or whatever you want to do for a Switch right now. But look at what Sony did announce at their event. Okay. You're launching with Miles Morales right from the get-go. Astro's Playroom is coming on all the PS5s. You're going to have games coming within first quarter of 2021. Xbox is going to have Halo, which we know Halo is a huge, big following, and whatever else they have. Usually it's a Forza, usually around the launch of a console, you see the Forza and whatnot. So if Nintendo doesn't have that, you're going to see a lot of that market share that they have. People are not going to be playing their Switches as much. Like right now, I haven't played my Switch really all week because I don't care about Animal Crossing really anymore.
Get in the weeds.
My island is probably full of weeds and drop tree branches, and people ticked off because I haven't talked to them for a week. But here's my thing though, is like, yeah, they're now coming out with new content where you can go swim with the fish, and you're going to get some new things here, but it's not really big. Give me now a way to expand my island. Okay, I may be in all in that and start building some more. But Animal Crossing was big, and I think it was big because of the moment. Because everybody was stuck at home.
Yeah.
And
it was the next big title that was coming out right during COVID. Like it was hard. It was so hard for us to find it.
Even Nintendo themselves said they sold as much during that time period as they expected it to do in its lifetime. And that's because COVID. We were all locked at home. We couldn't go see our friends. So people were using Animal Crossing. I mean, look.
Oh, yeah.
Gary Whitta created Animal Talking, a talk show in the basement of his Animal Crossing house. And on his stream today, he had yesterday, it was musician Sting, and he had Kevin Smith. I mean, he gets big names that are coming on his little talk show in Animal Crossing. So, I mean, it still does have a following, but it's waning because you get so much and you're just like, I'm done. I have 400 hours invested in the game. And I'm like at that point where I don't really care. And I don't. There's
And
not
you're
enough on
probably
my
starting
Switch.
a new game.
Yeah, and the boss of the
You know
burnout
what?
too.
You know what? My wife's actually thought about starting a whole new island. To your point, Jerry, is because it's at that point, you know.
Yeah,
And
you burn
but
out.
for me, it's like, but there's nothing really on the Switch. Yeah, I need to go back to Ori and finish Ori or go finish Cuphead, right? But outside of that, Mario Kart, okay, cool. Breath of the Wild, I wasn't impressed with. Mario Odyssey, it was all right, you know, but it's just not enough to hold you there.
Well, so that's where I'm going with my Nintendo though, is that like they have a bunch of the popular ones, the obvious. You know, you have Mario, Zelda, Metroid, Sonic
don't.
now.
You don't have
You know,
Metroid.
well, I mean,
Where's
like
Metroid? No, in all seriousness, where's Metroid been?
I
When's the
don't
last time
know.
we had Metroid?
I don't know. Maybe it might be in October. You know, it might be in the pipeline.
So-
I don't know. But the point I'm trying to make is that they have their little ports that are the big money makers that hold them to the year. What they've been doing is they've been actually trying to give those indies like, okay, cool, like a platform, sweet. But everybody, there are going to be those cult classic indie games, like that just all of a sudden just dominate. You know, like we had a huge Cuphead scene for how long, you know, and then we've had like what's the last other ones, you know, and you will get an indie game that just pops out of nowhere and everyone needs to have it, you know.
Well,
Like was it that Flappy Bird that was
Yeah.
just out of nowhere? It's just the simplest game, but
Well,
everybody and their mother
in
had
regards
that.
to that, still the indie games being possibly a thing, I still don't see that being a strong like
It just
road.
takes one sometimes, though, you know. Like
True, but I feel like
they just
given its lifespan and getting closer and
doesn't need
closer
to
to
have
the
that long-
holiday, they need to start getting into that mode where they start
Pierre,
exclusive consoles or exclusive accessories for the Switch.
monetarily
that they-
though, if
that
you
they can-
have it carry over to the next one, that game has done its job.
Pierre.
But here, how about this? The big thing we're all talking about, Nintendo needs to do this. You do this. They need to do something, so on and so forth. But every year, it seems that is always the case. But they're still there, and they're still powering through.
Well, yeah, because Nintendo's still consistent. It's always hitting that.
Nintendo's been the king of the
I'd say until
handheld.
they do come. I'd say let's wait, let's see, and then let's decide and see.
I mean, honestly, Nintendo's the reason we don't have a Vita.
Yeah.
Well, no one goes against Nintendo's handheld.
No,
Everyone's tried.
the king
People
of the
have tried, and they failed.
Everyone, but Microsoft really.
Yeah, Microsoft was smart enough to.
They were the only ones that were like,
yeah.
No, it's okay. We're good.
No.
It's okay.
No, I just think
Do that.
Nintendo's always there. Nintendo beats to their own drum, but I think the problem is that the console is portable. Everybody loves it, but right now all you're getting is ports. You're not getting anything really big new for it.
But maybe is it not that, or is it also like you're not the demographic too for the current games that are going out right now?
Name a big game.
That's the thing. I'm saying maybe those games that are being played right now, where they're just not up. They're not
Untitled
the big games.
Goose Game, you know.
Yeah, they're making a lot of money on a lot of those little games that aren't big.
Well,
they're making tons of money on it. So they're like, we don't.
Well, and they're making tons of money. You know, they're making tons of money on Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
but
I mean, like, they're Smash.
I mean, the last few years have been the years of the indie game. Like they have really made their staple back into the.
And what's
how many new game makers are out there? I mean, look at all the makers right now that come out of the woodwork. Cuphead, you know, this is like there's gamers that are like, I made a game, I put it out there. What do you guys think?
Super Meat Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and what's
Super
funny
Meat
is
Boy,
Sean
Binding
Layden.
of Isaac, all those just.
Yeah. Well, Sean Layden,
those are all on Switch.
Yep, all on Switch.
Former head of Sony, right? Sean Layden even said at this point we can't even sustain AAA titles because they're becoming so expensive to make, and we're still selling them for $60. There's been it's been
that's
flat.
what
It's been
Nintendo's doing. Is
stagnant.
they're not.
Yeah.
They're playing the long
but-
game. They're like, keep
They're-
playing that game. We're playing this game, and you
No.
know maybe you'll catch up.
They're playing the economy, you know, like
Yeah.
people can't afford all
Well-
these $60 games, you know, and it's like, well, you know what? You can get this $10 game.
Well, hold on. If that
They're
defeats your
also,
argument, though.
like-
Hold on. That
No.
defeats your argument then of the games always, those tent poles, because Breath
No,
of the Wild has been that was a launch title.
It proves
It's still
my
$60.
point, in my opinion. You know,
But
like
those will
because
stay around.
if those small games, you know, hey, but you can buy this for $10, boom, like it holds over till the
Mhm.
next Zelda. When's the
Yeah.
next Breath of the Wild 2? When's the next Breath of the Wild 2? We know it's coming.
Most likely next year.
But not just that. But think about this: if someone comes to the store, okay, look at the title that came out for PlayStation, like an opening title, whatever that came out on the console. God of War,
Knack and
something,
Killzone.
Knack is
something like that. Now, you go out and buy a PS4. Are you going to buy that title?
I did.
I don't know what Knack was. I mean,
No,
you saw
no,
the
no.
demo.
In regards
Now.
to now, if you
Oh,
were going to buy
now.
a PS4 now,
You're gonna buy a PS4 now. Are you gonna buy that title?
Oh, so if I'm going to buy a PS4
Not a
now,
chance in hell. But you're
I'm
gonna
gonna
buy.
buy-
You're gonna buy. Breath
hold
of
on.
the Wild.
if I'm buying a PS4 right now, I'm going to be getting God of War at $20. I'm going to get Horizon at $20. I'm going to get Uncharted at $20. There is a ton of games out there
Absolutely.
that they
Now,
have as their greatest hits.
Now
that-
you turn around and buy Switch. Are you willing to spend $60 on Breath of the Wild? You just bought one today. You didn't have one. What are you gonna do?
I think for me,
Yeah.
if I'm going to buy a
okay,
Switch,
with me.
I'm going to either be buying
I would've
Animal
bought it.
Crossing
You're gonna buy it, and you're gonna
Well,
spend $60.
or-
You'd be like, "This is
or I'm going to buy
totally
Mario
worth it."
Kart.
The
Listen,
time
like
didn't
I mean,
delay it. The time
Pierre
didn't make it
Pierre
less.
Pierre does makes a valid point because I bought a Switch 2.0. You know, I didn't even get the 1.0. So when I did go and buy it, I did pick up Zelda. I picked up Bayonetta. You know, and it
And
was
you spent that money.
Mhm.
I still spent that extra money.
And
Because
now,
I
did you
knew
think that
it's-
there was a
it was
deficit?
worth
Did
it.
you lose something because you waited that you should have gotten more because it's been time? Most people I'd say no.
No,
They're like,
yeah, I mean, like
I got the
I
game,
know
it's
what
a
to
great
expect
game,
for
I
the
love
game.
it.
I knew what to expect for these, and you know, I still paid the money because I wanted to play it. I still wanted it. You know, it has that length of time where there is no like, oh, I don't
Timeless.
know. Yeah, I don't know if it's a good game or not. You know, I don't have to wait for a greatest hits to tell me it's good, or to tell me that it's been bought a bajillion times. I just say, oh, hey, it's Zelda, and I just
And
because
I
it's
get
been
that.
around
Yeah.
forever, you know, and that's
Yeah.
The
that's
Mario
how
Kart.
they just keep it at 60.
See,
'cause
for
it's
me,
still
To
60.
Pierre's point, though, if I was going to buy a Switch, for me, it would have been either if I was buying it right now and I didn't have a console, it would have been for either Animal Crossing because everybody else is playing it,
Yeah.
or it would have been Mario Kart.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. They
And
have tons of
Mario-
titles though.
Mario
You're-
Kart's
they're gonna
still
get you.
$50.
It's still $60 game.
No.
And it does not drop in value at all. I mean, that's the thing is with
No.
Nintendo games, they keep that value. So
Yeah.
now,
I
closing
think they
kind of
keep
thing.
that worth too. Like it's worth still there.
Some do.
So with kind of the last topic to talk about is Last of Us 2. Now, granted, we are not going to talk about any spoilers or anything like that.
Nope.
Okay. Jerry is a little bit further along than I am.
a lot further
I'm
than
at-
me, guys.
I'm at Seattle day one. Jason hasn't picked it up yet because he's just slacking over there.
Hey, I've been busy, man. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize to all the listeners out there.
But-
I am slow.
But to what we were kind of talking about earlier, guys, and just being excellent to each other, ton of people, almost 20,000 out of 30,000 review bombed Last of Us 2.
Yeah, on Metacritic.
They did the dirty to Last of Us like they did to Death Stranding. And there's a lot of articles out there that were starting to look at some of those complaints, and they were saying, well, they finished the game, here's my ending, blah, 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 blah. But the problem is that the game takes, if you just speed run it, right, 20 to 30 hours to beat the game from start to finish. The game hadn't been out 20 to 30 hours yet, and these reviews were up saying they beat it. You know,
Now, when was the game available?
Midnight last Thursday?
No. It came. I did see a few people with it.
There were a lot of people who had it like probably 4 or 5 days before release. So you got those people who are playing it early.
But when you look at it, though, is that a lot of them they're complaining about Ellie being gay.
Of course,
play the first one.
That was
play the first one. You know, that's the first. Just play the first one.
Didn't play the first game.
Yeah.
2 is
this is a part 2. That's a big, flag.
They didn't like the big bomb that dropped within the first part of the game, which
spoilers like don't.
Well,
no,
I mean,
I'm not naming
it's not
names.
a spoiler.
I'm not saying.
It's not a spoiler.
Well, it kind of is because
it kind of is because it was never
saying,
really confirmed. But we should not be discussing.
Well, we should not.
Well, no. I'm not talking names or what happened or anything like that.
No names.
They didn't like that.
But there was a review. Wasn't there a trailer? Wasn't there a trailer?
No. Could this backlash happen partly because of kind of in that same deficit that you'd said before? Like that's why Animal Crossing did so well. They were still kind of at the back end of that deficit of like things to do. You're still looking for something to do. People bought Last of Us not knowing anything and then getting it and being like, "Oh, this." Well,
it's part 2, so
yeah,
you should know what happened.
I agree
part
with
1.
you. I know, I'm with you. I agree with you.
Well, no, I think a lot of it though is they're hitting on certain points. They're starting on like plot points, but then they're also looking at it being too violent. But when you look at the grand scope of things and you actually look at the game for what it is, it's a story about revenge. At its core.
Oh my God.
Ultimately, it's that redemption or
the director of the game said that. This is a story of revenge.
They're now starting to do petitions to make Naughty Dog redo the story.
Oh no.
So I want to ask you a question.
I hate all those things.
You're doing a petition, right? Do you have the roughly $200 million for them to redo the entire game?
How often has these as a petition? Like these they
Mass
keep
Effect
coming
3. Mass Effect 3.
In DLC.
And it came out, they had to do an update via DLC.
Yeah,
to get the ending
DLC kind of thing with it.
Yeah.
But there's only been one instance where like that
I can even think of.
Of redo. Think of it's just
here's my problem with it is
it's like a book.
If you don't like it, that's fine. Just say, hey, you don't like it for whatever reason and move on. But you don't have to just review bomb it, guys, because here's the thing is these devs put in a lot of hard work. There are a lot of fans out there that love these series. But if you continually review bomb something just because you don't like Hideo Kojima or you don't like Naughty Dog, you're going to stop these. You're going to stop these. You're going to stop you're going to stop these companies from taking risks.
Yeah.
And trying to move stories forward, and they're going to start having to just go safe games. And I'm sorry, I don't want a safe game.
Halo 20.
Just right.
Just don't buy it. Like
Madden 2000.
Well, sports games are gonna they kind of gonna die,
but
they're never gonna die.
Sports game, it's just like.
But that's what we're gonna be left with.
I just can't believe I saw it the day of when it came out on Friday. I was like, yo, I can't believe this is already getting bombed, and I already knew exactly without even having to open the article. I was like, there's 2 things that it could be. Literally because Ellie is a lesbian, or B, because it's something something minute.
They don't like the fact there's a trans character in the game too.
Yeah. So I mean, gay
which
lives
is
matter.
insane.
Come on,
which
guys.
Is what are we dealing with right now? And these people are just trolling it.
This is exactly what's been going on right now with Black Lives Matter. Gay lives matter, man. Just give them a game. Give them a game too. This is a major title that a lot of people have been looking forward to.
I mean, and to me is, I applaud some of the stuff that Neil Druckmann and company at Naughty Dog put into the game. Jerry, some of the stuff I'm talking about with regards to some of the characters. I applaud them for taking that leap. I applaud them for inclusion. I applaud them for, sticking to their guns. Yes, Ellie is gay. period. And you know what? It is not a over-the-top political statement. It's just she's gay.
She is.
She's in a relationship.
That's cool.
Who cares?
Why is that a
Cloud
political
cross
statement?
dress for one scene, that's
But why is that? Why has that become a political statement? Like, how does that?
So, and I think what the problem is like, to Jason's point right there, is like people are complaining that Ellie's gay.
That's
Yeah.
all it is.
You had a very, very affront cross-dress scene in Final Fantasy VII Remake,
and everyone was like,
and everyone was loving it.
Like, oh, brilliantly done.
So,
But they're not the same players playing those games. They
I mean, like, same universe. A lot of PlayStation 4 players,
Yeah, but I mean, it's like books. It's a different type of book. How many people pick up the romantic comedy versus the blah, 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 blah.
Jerry.
Hey, we all love romantic
Excuse
comedy.
me, because
all right?
I'm eclectic and I enjoy all facets of cinema because I am a movie buff.
Is there a rom-com shame happening right now? People.
No, there's not, because I love Hitch. I love Serendipity.
But I just don't understand it, PS4 people. Like, we need to band together, you guys. What the heck?
Yeah,
like
but I think
is it affecting the sales?
Yes,
oh, no,
it is.
Are the voices so different? Are the voices?
No.
Who's louder? Are the people supporting the situation or the people against it?
Well, I think now you've had this now pivot where all these people are coming out going to Naughty Dog's defense and going, guys, back off. This is an amazing story. You need to actually play it.
Question is, I was wondering in regards to what Jason was saying, that it was getting hit in sales. Matt, is that not true? How is it doing?
Yeah.
It is actually it is above Spider-Man in terms of overall sales since launch.
Oh, okay.
It's beating Horizon already. It is beating Days
I
Gone.
apologize.
Okay, good.
Could this be?
Good. I just wanted to clarify because I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
apologize. Yeah.
I just think it's just that the review bombing because they don't like it. Like Death Stranding, they review bombed it because they didn't like Kojima.
Right.
That's all they reviewed bombed it for, and that's it. So they're just not liking the fact that this leak came out months ago, and it was Ellie's gay, and something's happened in the game that everyone was all ticked about it. But you know what? It's a story. You got to move it on. Hey, by the way, Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's dad. Oh, spoiler.
Oh my God, my ears.
That moved the story forward, though. So you gotta let them
voice. Are you giving them voice? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is it even worth it? Like, to talk about, like, hey, in this instance, is saying, like, hey, there's review bombs. I know it's happening. I don't know how much of it's happening. I don't know their. But
here's my thought is.
I'm talking.
Because, I mean, granted, yes, I love Sony. It is my preferred console and whatnot. But I think Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann need some defense to this because they did make one, it's a gorgeous game. But two is the story so far from what I've played. Yes, it's hit the feels a little bit, but it's a very powerful story that I love.
Just like the first game.
Just like the first game.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the thing is what people need to understand is don't go off of Metacritic. Listen to the people that have actually truly played it, that not necessarily the ones that work for IGN, Game Informer, that, a lot of them kind of get special favors because they're giving positive reviews. But look at the smaller indie websites that are doing the reviews, and actually kind of go off of them. Watch some Twitch
gameplay.
Yeah.
Trust you guys.
Trust.
Yeah.
I mean, like, honestly,
go to crashinggamenight.com.
Yeah.
Case in point, like you look at Final Fantasy VII, right? Jason and I absolutely love that universe, but I
love the universe too, obviously, but I'm distracted.
We took on some things on our articles.
I didn't even look at his
points.
I didn't look at his because I didn't want to be biased.
I mean, I read Jason's afterwards because I had to edit it. But here's the thing is
I didn't read Matt's till after.
Yeah, we both took Square to task on a couple of things that we disagreed with. Now, that's to say is we both said, hey, play the game and form your own opinion. Here's A, B, C, and D. This is the things we didn't like. And I think that's what you kind of got to look at is it's objective, right? I'm not completely going to 100% rail on a studio, right? Do I think that Days Gone wasn't a great game? Yes. I know Jerry played it and he liked it, but I didn't think Days Gone was a good game. And that's because the play mechanics didn't fit with me. I think the story was just another zombie game, you know, for me that it just didn't resonate, right? But Bend, you know, the stuff they wanted to put in the game, they were trying to accomplish. Yes, they had a lot of bugs they had to fix in the beginning, like the audio issues, but Bend put together a great game, you know, as far as from visuals and perspective and everything. And what people have gone on to play it said it's an amazing, amazing game. Okay, it just wasn't for me. But I'm not going to go and sit there and go give it a 1 because I didn't
Bash
like
it.
the game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bash it. You know, I will. I mean, I would bash them on some mechanics. Like for instance, Ben did Uncharted Golden Abyss for the Vita, and the gun mechanics are terrible.
Yeah.
But everything else is great concepts.
I think it's the Yelp mentality, you know, where it's
Yeah,
like
the
it's either
Karens.
1 star or 5, 1 or 5.
Mhm.
There's no
Yep.
3 stars, there's no 2 stars, just 1 or 5.
Perfect example, like Rotten Tomatoes. Like, are you really going to go for like if it's rotten or fresh? That's going to determine your decision. No,
Some of the movies I
you're
love,
gonna
I've
weigh
gotten
it, and then
bombed.
And by the
Unless
way,
it's like a
those
2 or like a 3,
yeah.
then it's like I'll consider.
But by the way, though, like even looking at Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, there is not a lot of horror movies that make it past like 30
No.
or 40. You
So-
know?
Oh no.
And it's just like, oh, it's the same thing over and over again.
Same thing with
Well,
sci-fi. Sci-fi is never hit with a fresh tomato
Yeah.
for the most part.
Yep.
So it's
So-
one of those things where like people, you just need to play the first one. Play the first one. Don't watch Kill Bill 2 and be like, oh, this is the best movie ever, or like this is the worst movie ever. It's like, dude, you got to watch 1 to understand number 2.
Yeah.
Last
So,
of Us.
let's
It doesn't say Last of Us Part 1, but I mean this says Part 2. You know, like maybe they need to have a Last of Us Part 1 remastered.
so with that,
Part 1.
let's
They did.
Go
They
ahead,
made
Gary.
that.
They did make it, but they didn't.
They didn't name it Part 1 to
They
make it
should've,
easier
yeah.
for people to
understand. Hey, we're making a second one. You know.
So let's use that as a really good segue, and let's start with Jason. Jason, I know you said you've had a busy week, but did you get to play anything?
Super busy week. No, like I just barely played Final Fantasy like today.
14.
All I've been doing is just playing in between time on my phone. And if that is, it's going to be Team Fortress Tactics or Team Fight Tactics, Team Fortress, Team Fight Tactics, the League of Legends little. I don't even know how to describe it, like a little team game.
Mhm.
But my friends want me to jump back into Team Fortress a little bit, and I said I don't really play shooters, so don't expect me to do well. Might pull a couple Jerry rounds. Yeah.
A couple is
First
probably
and
be
foremost,
everything.
that's
Like
honestly
nothing, no points.
that's
just
been
dying
dead.
a lot.
That's been dead.
I'm
Because
gonna revive it, Jerry.
I've been doing.
He's been doing
under
all
oath,
right.
bro. I've been doing very
He
well.
has.
Oh,
He has.
okay. I gotta.
He
okay,
has.
I'm
Like-
sorry.
Like number 1 top of the page.
Oh, okay, I was just wondering, like,
Oh,
what
okay.
is it like? Well, for you, or is it like?
That's okay. That's valid.
That's
That's valid. That's a valid question.
But yeah, it's just been like here and there, picking up 1 or 2
Yeah.
things. Like I still want to platinum Final Fantasy VII, and I just
Mhm.
spend maybe 10 minutes on it. And I'm like, all right, I need to rest up. I need to rest up and get ready for
Yeah.
work again. So
So Jerry, what have you been playing?
Well, obviously COD with you guys, and then more of Last of Us. I've been taking my time. I've been taking breaks. Like once I get through like a couple situations, and then like all right, because I want
like-
to savor this story as
Dude.
much as I can.
There is so
Jerry,
much
really?
Naughty Dog history in that game.
There is so many Easter eggs. I already found like 2 original PS3s, the R versions,
Mhm.
Jason. What else? Oh yeah, and a couple games like Uncharted 2, and like found Nathan Drake's ring like
dude,
as a collectible. It was super. There's a lot in there.
I find it
And
funny
not to
though,
mention
Jerry.
the
No.
superhero cards that you're supposed to find in the game.
Dr. Druckmann.
Yeah, a lot of them are some
The
of the
dev.
game
Yeah.
devs. Yeah.
I just find it funny though that Sekiro is just a thing of the past now, just because we're just
I know.
We
We'll
we
get
got we gotta push through, man.
I know we gotta push through.
I feel like I might start watching some videos or something and just like, you know what, I gotta
I
push
know.
through
I've
this.
even taken a break from watching some of those videos because I'm just it's gonna get me, and I'm gonna be like,
No,
I can do
not
it.
even.
I can
Not
do
even,
this.
man. We just gotta push through and finish up. Pierre, put him to it. You gotta
Take
like,
it.
hey, you know what? Should put in a good half hour Sekiro.
So, Pierre, what have you been playing? Since I know you've got a Switch.
I do have a Switch. I actually played Animal Crossing last night for a bit. Did like the rounds, which I haven't done in a while. And today,
it was a struggle.
It was a struggle. Wizard of the Coast released Magic the Gathering Arena on Mac. I have a Mac.
What?
Oh,
Only
okay.
so that announced today. So
Just
which
wait.
was-
Wait
just
for it.
finally, it's finally
no.
on Mac. It's after forever. And it's been doing really well normally, but the Mac version or what you play through the Epic Game Store,
Oh,
bro, it's like
Oh,
cut
man.
out
Don't
on me
get me
like
back
6
in there, man.
times. But other than that, it's playing really fun. Like when it's working well. And I'm
Don't get me
having
back on
a
there.
good time.
Okay.
Yeah, today's the release. It's pre-release, so you can actually
Okay,
do a
then.
pre-release digitally.
Lovely. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
so it's
You're
pretty
a
fun.
jerk. You're a jerk.
That's
sir.
Gathering. What?
Yep.
Might have to do a Friday Night Magic. Pierre.
Yeah,
Oh God.
tomorrow.
Yeah. So
New set 2021.
yeah. So I played, of course, Last of Us.
Yeah.
Nice.
Also completed some more of the endings for Late Shift. I now have 4 of the 7 endings for it. So I just got to get 3 more, and then I can get the platinum for it. Of course, COD. That's
Have you been
it.
hitting Horizon at all, or?
No, I'll go back to that one.
Uh,
I want to start clearing out a little bit of my backlog. Being that Horizon is not a launch title, I have some time. But yes,
yeah.
But it is an
I already-
exclusive.
but I already have the platinum for it. I just want the 100% trophy.
Oh.
That's it. That's it.
You want that
know?
hundo on the save.
I want the hundo on the save.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's pretty much the bulk. Oh, and I've been playing Everybody's Golf,
Everybody's golf. You just
which
wanna
was
get outside,
by
get some golf
by
swing?
Japan. Yeah, by
Yeah.
Japan Studio.
Oh yeah.
Another
Nintendo Golf.
Sony exclusive, and it's fun. It's like kind of like what Wii Sports was with their golf, just
Are
a
you
lot.
tired of
Oh,
hearing?
okay.
Nice shot.
Oh my God,
Not
I'm
yet.
tired of hearing it. Oh, I'm tired of hearing
Nice
it.
yeah.
shot.
I remember
Nice
that
shot.
from the Wii. It was so annoying.
Yeah, they have it in Everybody's Golf. Every time
Yeah.
you hit it just right, it's like.
Don't they
nice.
have one like grade on or something like that?
No, it's like stop, just stop.
Yeah, yeah.
And the ball's good. Looks like it's gonna roll off the green. It's kind of funny. But no, other than that, that's pretty much what I've been playing. I did reinstall Arkham Asylum. That one's gonna get played a little bit on the side.
I did
Okay.
that too, actually.
So
I'm
yeah,
thinking
I'm
of
playing.
redoing that whole trilogy because I only got
Yep.
like 1 or 2 of them from borrowing it from Jerry.
Yeah.
And
So I'm gonna start working back through those as well.
Which one?
So before we head out for the night, Pierre, as a guest, we always like to ask our guests one question. What is your favorite game to play for game night with your family and friends?
Video game.
Doesn't matter. Board game, just
Okay,
whatever.
board game. I'm a fan of doing like DC deck builder or like a card game or Cards Against Humanity.
Nice.
A video game, Mario Kart. I'd say Mario Kart's an easy and anyone can play it. I'm not a fan of Smash in groups because not
Nice.
everyone will play it, but Mario Kart.
And we, since we mentioned your art, where can people go on social media to go see that great artwork you're putting up?
I am Instagram Pierre McDermott 1, I think, and on Instagram's probably the best way. It's also
Alrighty.
through Facebook, but Facebook there's
Yep.
like 2 Pierre McDermotts.
Alrighty, so to all our listeners out there, I want to definitely thank you for crashing game night with us tonight. As always, if you liked what you heard, subscribe to us on the podcast platform that you are listening to right now, including we are now officially 100% live on Pandora.
Welcome. What up? Shout out to
all the listeners on
Pandora.
Pandora.
That's right.
Shout out.
Welcome to game night.
That's a box we want to open.
You know, yeah, definitely leave those comments as well, guys, especially on iTunes. Helps with those rankings. I want to say everybody be excellent to each other and stay frosty.
That's right. Later, nerds. Thank you so much for joining us. And this was fun. This was a nice day. Pierre, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Right on.
A shout out to Pierre. You know, like, you got to live with that guy. So
I know.
That deserves
this
a
guy.
big shout out.
1,000%. Bro,
That
bro,
deserves
bro,
a huge
bro.
shout out.
Bro,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate it.
So
Once
as
again,
Theo,
that's valid.
as Theo is not here to say it, I guess we'll try and attempt to say it. As Theo puts it, TTFN.
TTFN.
Ta-ta for now.
Ta-ta for now.
Night, everybody.